Hi everybody, this is Professor Allen, and most importantly, I hope everyone is doing well in the face of the COVID crisis and that you and yours are all well. I'm going to record a short video for you today dealing with a demo of Capital IQ to which you all have access. Access was set up. If you're a first-time user, you will probably have to do a first-time user question response I think they have it in the upper right corner on the screen. I'll show you in a moment. After that, you'll have a chance to set your own password. And if you have any problems, I've posted the customer service information for you on my courses, and they are very, very good. If you have any problems with them, send me a note, okay? It is getting a bit late in the semester, but since I did have some questions about it, I want to make sure I address those. I have also posted the project outline, which I'll show you in a moment on my courses, but I'm going to run through it this morning anyway to accompany this video. So sign on to your Dean account, just as you would normally, and open up a new tab. In this case, I'm using Google Chrome. I usually use Foxfire, that works equally well. Firefox, I'm so sorry. And in the search bar, type in Capital IQ, just like that, .com. Hit return, and this is the sign-in screen it will give you. It's already showing my own username and my own custom password overlaid. I saved it. But way up here, as you can see in the top right, it says new user. Okay, that's where you may end up having to go. I have not gone through the password establishment screen yet, but no students have complained to me about it, so I have to assume it's going to be nice and smooth for you. So anyway, I'm just going to come down here and click sign in. Okay. There we are. Now this is the lead screen. In class, I indicated that this was like an iceberg where you see the tip above the surface of the water. The bulk of it is under the surface. We're going to use the tip for now because this is introductory. But Standard & Poor's, as a tool for professional Wall Street brokers, has a ton of information under the surface of the water the further you drill down. Okay, so we're just going to stay at the top couple of levels because we're really only looking for one thing: management of a couple of stocks that you will pick. So now let's go over here to the left. I'm sharing my screen with you now. And this is the project you'll actually see posted on my courses, so everything is there for you. But it's about you receiving a windfall of 300 grand in cash, ignoring taxes and commissions that will just complicate things. We're going to keep it nice and simple. This is about learning how to monitor the price of your stock on Standard & Poor's. So you've been left this money, say by a rich uncle, with the condition that you invest in the markets. Now, we've by now covered some stock market aspects and investing aspects in class already, but we have not really gotten into how to establish a portfolio. So what I want you to do is pick a couple of publicly traded companies, common names. I put a portfolio together myself that contains some of the names you see way over there, right over here to your right, where it says Best Buy, McDonald's, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson. Those are all publicly traded companies. That means you can pick up your phone and buy their stock. Okay? You have to figure out how much of that stock you want to buy, because these stocks all trade at different prices, and our goal is to split that $300,000 up. Now, it's late in the semester. I usually recommend that people pick no less than half a dozen and no more than a dozen different companies. At this point, if you pick 5 or 6, that will suffice, okay? Because we have to make things happen in a limited number of weeks. So here's the deal. I'm going to break off for a minute and show you what my portfolio looks like. You see these tabs up here, companies, markets, screening, charting, okay? We're going to pretty much focus on this lead screen that we see right here for a specific company, and I'll show you that in a moment. In other words, when you type in a company's name, the first screen that you get. That's where we'll concentrate our efforts. But what I'm going to do is break off from that for just a moment and show you what I did. I put one together for myself. Obviously, every portfolio, which is simply a group of stocks, right? that you buy because you want to spread your money around. And I would be very surprised if anybody in our class, including myself, has made any money at this point because we know the market goes through swings, and the swings have been mostly downward since the COVID crisis hit. But let's just take a look for grins. I'm going to click on portfolios. All right, now I've got a number of portfolios here. These are like simply folders, and they've got different papers contained in them, okay? In this case, they're stocks, equities as we call them. So I'm going to click on this one, Professor Allen's Most Excellent 2020 Holdings. Now watch this blue bar over here. This bar gives you all kinds of drilling down power. This gives me highlights of my holdings, all right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the left bar again, that little blue bar, and I'm going to click on where it says holdings. In other words, show me everything that's in my portfolio. Okay, so there it is, friends. You can see that I have some shares. I've got 500 shares of Alcoa, 200 shares of Apple. I bought some Disney, GE, a company called IDEX. Okay, all right. The price indicates where the most recent trade happened, okay, because when I'm writing this, the market has not opened yet. Those prices will start updating a few times several times an hour, let's say, as activity in the market happens. Then way over here is the market value column. That tells you how much your portfolio is worth. You hope if you're going to invest around 300,000, that these numbers add up to over 300,000. It means you're making money and your stock prices are going up. Right now, they've probably come down because the markets have not taken well to the COVID crisis. All right, so now I'm going to come back here to companies. Okay, and now I want to move up to the search bar, this white search bar that you see up here. Now, the minute I put my cursor on it and clicked, it took the most recent companies I investigated and guessed that those are the ones I might want to check. Well, let's pick a new one. All right, I'm going to use, how about, I like Coca-Cola, so I'm going to type in Coca-Cola. Now, the ticker symbol, every company has a 1, 2, 3, or 4 letter ticker symbol that identifies it to investors and the stock exchange. Coca-Cola's is KO. See at the top right away, it knew I am looking for Coca-Cola. But now, if you didn't know what Coca-Cola's ticker was, okay, they can be very subtle sometimes. Harley-Davidson's ticker is HOG, HOG, for obvious reasons. And some of them make perfect sense. Well, Coca-Cola, let me see. It could be C, it could be CC, it could be CO, COLA. You simply don't know. So I'm going to start typing COLA. Hey, look, there it is. The system assumed that when you type in cola, you could have also typed in Coca, all right? It's going to assume that you're looking for Coca-Cola. It will be usually the one at the top of the list. It says NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. That's the one we want because Coca-Cola, as you can see, has many companies around the world. But we want the headquarters. So I click on it. Now this is the lead sheet for Coca-Cola. This is as far as, unless you're curious, this is as far as you're going to have to go. Because the information for our project is contained right on this page. Now look at this blue bar over here. You can find anything you want over here. Look at that. Professionals. That'll tell you who the person in charge of the company is. You click on that, it will bring you to a resume of Mr. John Quincy, who's the current president, CEO, and chairman of Coke. Okay? You can find out the board members. Now down here, you can find out their financials, the income statement, the balance sheet, all the great stuff that Professor Kelly taught you about. All right? This is the iceberg that's under the water. You can go down as far here as you want. Dr. Shaw brought you a powerful tool here. But now what we're interested in is right down here. See that little chart about halfway down on the right? Okay. We are going to be interested in that in order to get our pricing. So we're going to do two things, first of all. We're going to take chunks of our $300,000 and we're going to split it up into a few companies. But we can't do that and know the number of shares we want to buy until we know what the current or most recent price of that stock is. How much is Coca-Cola per share? You want to buy one share of Coca-Cola, how much will it cost you? It's right there in front of you, friends. See that chart? Go way over here, right, to the left, way over to the left, and it says 47.61. It will cost you $47.61. Okay? Second, you say to yourself, well, how much do I want to spend out of my 300,000? Oh, maybe 50, 60, 70,000. So, but now here's the problem. That 47.61 is now, all right? What we want to do is we want to start our portfolio. Most of you have done that exactly when we're supposed to. One or two of you were a little delayed in starting. So this is how you go back and get the price of Coke back in January. See all the calendar dates down here? I'm just going to pick a date in January of 20th. All right, now you see as I scroll, it's not only showing me the blue line. That blue line is where the stock price was on the graph. But the little box is telling me on that blue line what the price was on a certain date. So why don't I pick, when our semester started sometime around here, so why don't we pick that number? The price of Coke that day was trading at $56 a share. Okay, very good. So knowing that Coke was trading at that, and you want to put in 50 or 60,000 into Coke, why don't we buy 1,000 shares? I'm just picking that number indiscriminately because I'll pick a few, and I can't go over 300,000. That's all I have to spend. So of that 300,000, I'll spend a piece of it, about a sixth of it, or 25% of it, on Coca-Cola. All right. So I've made my decision. Write that number down. $56 a share. That's what you all want to remember. Okay? So next, knowing that I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of Coca-Cola at 56, next I go over to, make sure you keep track of that 56,000 now, because once we leave this screen, S&P won't tell you that. They're going to go by the current price. So we come up here to portfolios, create. I'm going to create a brand new portfolio. That's the only time I will do it. All right, you have to name that portfolio. I'm going to call this sample 1. Okay? All right. Most of this information you can ignore here. Now, what we need to do is we need to start picking companies. Okay? So, the next thing I'm going to hit over here is save. All right, wait for it. All right, now what we have to do is start adding holdings. We've basically taken a file folder out of our file and opened it and said, whoa, it's empty. Yeah, we haven't put any stock into it yet. Every time we add a holding, we're going to start filling up that folder, our portfolio. So see that little blue symbol that says add holdings? All right, we click on that. All right, add a holding. I want to add 1,000 shares of Coca-Cola. As of date, okay, I can say that I want to add it 01, because we're going back now. If I were buying the stock today, I'd leave that blank, and it would overlay today's date. So I'm going to put in the 15th of January of this year. It's 2020, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. We are going to do a search. So search criteria. In that bar, you're going to type in, well, now we know Coca-Cola's symbol is KO. Just type in KO or Coca-Cola, whatever you like. And it's going to go look for any company that it thinks matches that criterion. Wait for it. There it is. And of course, because we did put in the ticker, it knows that you want Coca-Cola. In case you made a mistake with typing in that KO, it's giving you some other choices, but we know the one we want. Now, that box on the left, that contains the search results. We want to put Coca-Cola over here in our selected items. So we highlight Coca-Cola, it's already highlighted, and you come click on this little box, the right pointing arrow, and it's going to move Coca-Cola over into selected items when you left click on it. There it is. Okay? You have now just placed Coca-Cola into your portfolio, into your file, but we've got one more thing we have to do. We have to tell it how many shares we want. Come down here to that box that says value. It's already got 1 0 in it because you have to buy at least one share. All right, so I'm just going to add 100 to it. Now it says 1,000, and now we click on adding holdings, and there it is. Okay, now by typing in the price in that last screen, okay, it bought our shares, 1,000 shares of Coke at $56.70. Market value therefore is $56,700 at that point in time. We know today it's worth less. Those 1,000 shares would be worth only $47,000 today because the markets have dropped from January 15th, whenever it was, until today. Okay, so now, by way of example, let me do one more company for you. So what I want to do is I'm going to come up to companies, and let's pick another company. How about, well, right here we've got Mickey D's. Let's buy some of them. Their ticker is MCD, you will notice. Click on them, and that will bring us to the lead screen of McDonald's Corporation. Okay, this is everything you want to know in general about McDonald's. Everything you want to know specifically about them is over here to your left side in the blue bar. We notice that as of last trade, which would be the close of yesterday's market, that their pricing was $177.84 last. Okay, at 9:30 Eastern, you're going to start seeing that number change. So move over here to the chart and let's see how much we're going to buy back in January. It can be approximate. We'll come close to the 15th because that's when we bought our Coke. All right, that's close enough, I think. All right, you can see that McDonald's was trading that day at 208.35. That's all right. Let me write that down. 208.35. We're going to pretend that that's how much we bought it for. How much do we want to buy? Well, you can't buy 1,000 shares. You'd be putting too much of your money into it. How about 400 shares? Let's see what that does for us. Okay. Where do you go next, friends? You go back to portfolios. This time you don't click create. You've already created it. So you just go to portfolios. Okay. We click on our sample 1 portfolio. That's the one we created. All right. We want to check our holdings. Okay, we see that we've already got our Coca-Cola. It's very kindly listing it for us. All right, and now how do we add stock? You come over here to add holding, okay, to holdings. Click on the blue word holdings. There's that magic phrase, add holdings. Click on that. These are all left clicks, by the way. As of date, we're buying this on the 15th of this year, going back in time. Enter search criteria, enter the ticker symbol MCD, enter. There's our McDonald's Corporation right at the top. It's highlighted, okay? So I click on this right pointing arrow. It drags McDonald's over automatically, and now we type in the number of shares we want to buy. We just said, how about 400 shares? Oh, well, not 4,000, 400. And click on add, and your purchase has been made. Now look at your holdings. Okay, we bought 400 shares at 209.77, and that means the total we spent was $83.09. So we bought $56,000 worth of Coke, and we bought $84,000 worth of McDonald's. There goes our diet, right? Okay, the total we've spent so far, keep track of this, of your $300,000 is you spent roughly 140, right? So we've got another 160,000 left to spend. Buy a few more holdings. I think I've given you enough demos here to get you started. And then let's get back. All that we have to do after this, once you've established a base point of your portfolio, is put a report together for me. Toward the end of the week before our last week of classes, all right? Do this the weekend before we have our last week of class, because I want this report during the last week of class. I'm going to need you to answer these questions for me. Check the pricing, Friday. What is our last week of class? Okay, the last week of class has been moved up. So I would ask you to do this maybe on May 8th and get me your report, and I will post this for you on Monday, May 11th or May 12th. Fair enough? Here's what I want that report to contain, and it can be nice and brief, like a business memo type of report. I ask that you do it in Microsoft Word, okay? Don't do it using Google Docs or anything like that. I can't read those. Do it in Microsoft Word. You can do it in Excel if you wish. Don't use Google numbers. Use Microsoft Excel. So use a Microsoft product for me. Otherwise, I might not be able to read it. I can't give you full credit. How much did you make or lose? How much did the total value of your portfolio increase or decrease? All right. Give me the total and give me the individual stocks, because Coke might go up, Mickey D's might go down. Explain why. In this case, it probably has to do with general market conditions. All right. You may see a stock go way, way down and say, what happened? Well, the reason for that is because maybe they split their stock. I explained that in chapter 4, I believe. All right. Did you sell and purchase any stocks during this period? It's too late to start doing that, but had you had the entire semester, you might have seen one spike sharply up, and you might have said, I'll sell it and take the profit. Okay? Or you don't have to, but if you did, I'd like you to explain that. And lastly, I'd like you to explain why you selected that stock originally. What is it about the company that appealed to you? Do you just like using their products? Was it a news release? Was it a hot tip? Was it a headline you saw? Was it a financial report that you saw on TV or one that you saw online? Explain why you invested in Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Best Buy, Walmart, Alcoa, any of those companies. Those choices are purely up to you. Okay? That is the end of our video. I hope that you found this helpful. And as always, email me with any questions, and stay safe. Enjoy your day.